Now, y'all feel free to ask any questions as we go along tonight. I do find that sometimes this Sunday night one, there's not as many questions asked just because I get to talking and going and I want to cover all the information. But I do want you to take some notes because notes are important. But what I don't want you to feel like you have to do is I don't want you to feel like you have to screenshot every slide you see. You are going to have access to this after the fact. And I find that when you're having to screenshot slides of things you think you're not going to be able to have access again, it's distracting and you don't pick up everything that you should. So if you're going to do anything, you can take some notes, but don't feel like you have to screenshot all of these slides because you will have access to this document after the fact. In fact, it's already on the Shibboleth website. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the lifestyle overview. And because there's only really one component of what we do, these 5 daily disciplines that we put into place, that has to do with food. So you can go ahead and start putting these other disciplines into place ASAP. Some of you have already started doing that. Some of you are going to start tomorrow, and we're excited about that. But I want you to know that this is a lifestyle, it's not a diet. So we don't talk about this in terms of dieting because all you're trying to do is learn how to adjust what you eat. You are not dieting. So, and we do have to learn how to put those daily disciplines into place. But again, it's just not a diet. Now, in the beginning, you might think of it like that, but we want you to get to that mindset that it's a lifestyle. So, welcome. We're so glad you're here. My name is Kim Dahnke. I'm your fast track instructor. So the basics are this. There's 2 modes on Shibboleth, just 2 modes. You are either in weight loss mode or you're in maintenance mode. There's 2 modes. So there's 3 differences between these 2 modes. One is simply how many holidays you get to use in a calendar month if you choose to. The second one is how you eat fruit. And the third one is your mindset. So I already kind of briefly touched on that. You want to get to the mindset that you get to do this every day. This is your lifestyle, and I'm going to hang on to it for dear life because once you figure out it works, you never want to let go of it. There are 2 types of days in Shibboleth, either a perfect day or a holiday. Previously, in other things that you may have done, you've heard cheat day. Well, we don't cheat on Shibboleth. We enjoy our holidays for what they are, and we keep right on moving along, but we're not cheating. We're enjoying a celebratory day for some reason, or we've just made a choice to not have a perfect day. If you've joined as a lifetime member, you're going to see way more options in your journal than just perfect day and holiday. But I only want you to focus on perfect day and holiday because there's a lot of different options and types of perfect days you can have, but that's not what we're focused on right now. We're focused on just getting you into the lifestyle, figuring all that out, getting some results down, and then if you want to advance into those other types of perfect days, you can. But right now, perfect day or holiday. How many holidays are allowed? When you are in weight loss mode, you can use up to 6 holidays in a calendar month. Once you get into maintenance, you can use up to 12 holidays in a calendar month. Now, if a day is not a holiday, you do want it to be a truly perfect day, not just an okay day. An okay day is really a holiday. Okay, we're going to do it right, or we're going to have a holiday. So that's how many you can use in weight loss and maintenance mode. You do want to set your journal. When you go into not your journal, when you go into your profile and you click edit in there, make sure that you have chosen weight loss mode so that in your timing chart, you'll have up to 6 days that you can use because you need that to work so that you can have your best visual in your timing chart. And we're going to hit those important things in the fast track laps this week. So make sure you're participating in those laps. So how do you have a perfect day? You simply follow what we call the Shibboleth shield. Now, a shield is there to protect people. SWAT team members, they use a shield in the Bible and in history and warring. They use a shield. This shield is to keep them safe and protect them. So there's 5 components to our shield: water, journaling, Combinations, I'm going to expand on that. That's eating in a way that controls insulin, portions, and timing. So there's 5 parts of the shield. Only one of those, the combinations, has to do with what you're actually eating. All of these other things are there to optimize, and they're just daily disciplines that we ought to be putting in place in anyway. So after 2 perfect days, do you know that you are already turning your life around? You are already making yourself feel better. You're already giving your body a break from digesting and being overworked in that area. So after 2 perfect days, your body on the 3rd perfect day gets into a state that we call efficient fat burning. For short, we say EFB, and I always add baby at the end. EFB, baby, because that's where we want to be. EFB, efficient fat burning. Many, many, many people that I've talked to try to go to the gym and burn off fat. Hey, it burns a few extra calories and it does help, but that is not the #1 way to efficiently burn fat. We teach that right here in this lifestyle. We're going to go over each of these 5 components on a separate slide. Component #1 of the shield is water. You want to get in at least a half a gallon of water every single day, shooting for a gallon if it works out for you to get a gallon in with your work schedule and other things like that. But if you're shooting for that gallon is going to keep you very satisfied. So you will be mentally and physically satisfied if you are working on that gallon. It also will stop you from eating some things because you can realize, oh, you know what? I'm not even hungry. I just haven't had my water today. And you can go drink your water. So this is just a 16-ounce water bottle. Just 4 of these is your minimum. Your goal is 8. Okay, so we want to try to get that in. And as I always tell people, on those days, if you work in a job where you can't get all that in, get at least the 4 in. But then on the weekends or other days where you don't have to go to work and do that job, then shoot for the gallon, okay? So it doesn't have to be exactly the same every single day, but 64 is your minimum to say that you've had a perfect day in that component. A dehydrated body will not efficiently give up fat or waste, so we want to be getting all of our water in. Component #2 of the shield is to journal. We have got to write down our foods, okay? If you bite it, you write it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. If you drink it, you ink it. And if you hog it, you log it. You like my little hog here? He's a dog toy. I found him in Walmart and I thought he was perfect. But if you hog it, you log it. So basically, you want to write down absolutely everything that you eat. Being able to have this data to either analyze and see maybe if you ate an unapproved meal, we would want to be able to help you with that. But if you haven't given the computer the data, the information, there's no way for us to help you with that. So you put that in. I was also telling everybody in class on Saturday that if you're putting in your meals, you are creating your future meal plans, and you can go in there and print out your journals, and you would have those days that you can 3-hole punch, put in a binder, and be able to use again in the future. So it's really, really important to make sure that you are going to write down everything that you eat. And this is the part that sometimes people don't think they need to do, they don't really want to do, but it takes less than 5 minutes a day to put the information in, just to write down what you've eaten, okay? So we do want you to journal. Okay, component #3 of the shield is combinations. We are going to eat properly combined meals. We're going to eat in a way that controls insulin, which we call the fat bus. Properly combined meals keep away the fat bus. And nobody wants to bring the fat bus. So we're going to keep away those with properly combined meals. This is a big deal. We're going to go over one more slide about this tonight, but tomorrow night's webinar, the whole hour is on this one component, because it's not hard to know you got to get your water in. It's not hard to know that you got to journal. When we get to those others, those aren't going to be hard. This one's not hard either, but it is the one that takes a little bit more thinking and learning in the beginning. Okay, so tomorrow night, don't forget to come back tomorrow night. It's very important. Component number 4 of the shield is portions. We're going to eat properly portioned meals from a 6 to 8 inch plate using the 2-hand rule. Now, a 6 to 8 inch plate, really it's that center part of an 8-inch plate, or if you're using just a smaller plate. See, I don't even use the big plates anymore. So I'm so thankful that my dish set came with the larger plates and the smaller plates. I just use the smaller plates. So that's what I use for mine. Our stomachs are really no bigger than that. So if we're eating more than that, we are overeating. So, but honestly, no matter what size plate you're eating from, the 2-hand rule trumps everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our fingers as close together as possible, and we're going to move our thumbs out of the way. You're going to put your hands together as close as possible, and then you're going to lower your hands down over your food. And then you're going to look. If you cannot see your food sticking out around your hands, then you have portion control. I love this because I don't have to worry about measuring, weighing, counting calories. That's not up my alley. I've never done well with anything that required me to do all of that. So I just need to put the properly combined meal on my plate. I carry around my measuring tools with me everywhere I go. And we'll even teach you, like, this is your protein source. This is your fibrous carb. If you want an energy carb and a fibrous carb together, you use those parts and you're still going to have your protein source. So we can teach you ways to use your hands as good visuals for those things. So we're going to put our hands together, lower them down. So what that means is if you're at a restaurant and you get served on a big old giant plate, then you're still going to use your 2 hands. And you know what you might want to do? Right away, ask them for a doggy bag or a box, and you can take that away and go ahead and divide it up and take that meal away for your second meal at home. So we're going to do this. Now, if you're writing and making notes, please write this down. There are 3,500, so 3,500. There are 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. Now, really all fat is, it's stored energy. So at some point in time, many days actually, we overate by a certain X number of calories that just did not get burned off on the day that they got eaten, okay? And they got stored. And then we did it again and again and again, and they just got stored, okay? So it's stored energy. That is what we want to do. See, we want to access that stored energy. See, fat doesn't just go away. It has to be accessed, and we use that as our energy. And when we do that, we use that as our energy. That's when it gets used up and goes away. That's how we're losing fat. So that's why it's all about EFB, baby. It's all about that. So we're going to teach you how to do that. That properly combining has to do with that. But also, we do need to be in a calorie deficit. So a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories will help you lose 1 pound of fat. Now, that's not going to happen in one day. It's going to happen over a course of days. But by supercharging this with the combinations, we have really, really great results. What I love about this lifestyle is it's the best of the best information all put together in one, and this is just what you do. These things are not conceptual things. These are very concrete things that are actionable, measurable. We know that we can meet these every day, and we know whether or not we have met these each day. I appreciate that. I want to be concrete, sure that I met the 5 components of the shield. So I'm going to do a little recap right here, because the first 4 that we've gone over, those are the ones that you have to have just right to make sure that you've had a perfect day. So you want to make sure you get your water in. You want to make sure that you journaled your foods. This is a big part of behavior modification. So that's super, super duper important. We want to eat in a way that controls insulin, and we also want to portion control. So those 4, those are the absolutely most important. You have to have those 4 met in order to say you've had a perfect day. Oh, and I forgot to look up at Facebook today, but hey, everybody that's watching on Facebook. But the 5th one that we're going to go over is timing. timing is one of those things that, because everybody lives an absolutely different lifestyle, we can't really say, hey, eat at 8, eat at noon, eat at 6, you're done. But we can't do that. So what we do is we teach you how to optimize what you do, but then you choose what works best with your lifestyle. So if you're listening to Travis any of these days, you're hearing him say 3 eating episodes is all you should do. 3 eating episodes. And when he's talking about an eating episode, it could be a snack or a meal. So, so he's saying you should have 3 eating episodes. So that could be 3 meals. It could be 2 snacks. I mean, it could be 2 meals and a snack. It could be that type of thing. I want everybody to know what all they can have. And the reason I do that is because not every single day that you do is going to be exactly the same. And I am going to teach you what is good, better, and best. Okay. So we're going to start off with best. 3 eating episodes, and that's it, would be best. Okay. But not everybody's going to do that. And I do want you to know what other things that you can utilize to make sure that you stay in EFB, because really that's the most important thing, is staying in EFB. So 3 eating episodes is best. And by the way, I always like to tell everybody, that is what I did when I lost the 50 pounds. Actually, what I did was I did that for 3 months and lost 35.5 pounds. That's all I wanted to lose was 35.5 pounds. And then I went into our maintenance program because I thought I was where I was supposed to be. And and I lost another 15 pounds. I was like, wait a minute, I'll take it. Thank you. And but in that 3.5 months, that's all I did was eat 3 eating episodes. And it really wasn't that hard because I was just determined to do it. But there, you can do 3 meals a day. You do need to space those apart, 4 to 6 hours. That's important. The reason that's important is because you're giving your body a break from digesting. A lot of people have digestive issues these days. We hear about them all the time on ads for medicines and all kinds of stuff. There's digestive issues going on in the United States and really around the world, anywhere that's overweight. But because people are overeating, our bodies are a machine. And if this machine is constantly overworked, it is going to break down. So we do not need to be eating all day long. Okay, so we want to give our body that break from digesting. When we eat breakfast, it's not digested by lunch. We're just putting more food in on top of that. When we eat lunch, it's not digested by dinner. We're just putting more food in on top of that. So it takes 24 to 36 hours to completely digest a meal. So you can think about just putting more food in, more food in, more food in. We're just overworking our digestive system and other systems too. So 4 to 6 hours apart for your meals. And this is what we say: in moments of mental weakness, when you just absolutely cannot figure out how to make it from breakfast to lunch or lunch to dinner or dinner to bedtime, then you can utilize things that we have called freebies, an extra, or a snack. So those are some different things that you can make use of if you need them in moments of mental weakness. Now, honestly, when I heard Travis say that about the mental weakness, my determination and resoluteness said, oh, I'm not going to have a snack, a freebie, or an extra. I'm not doing it. Because I didn't want to be mentally weak. That's why. So that's one reason I did those 3. But now that I'm in maintenance, I do typically my 3 meals, an extra, and a snack daily. But FYI, see this baby right here? This is the #1 freebie you should always go to. So if you are feeling hungry or anything like that, ask yourself, see, I use that shield to filter my decisions through. So let's say I'm headed to the kitchen to figure out what I can eat. I'm going to look at my shield. #1 is water. I set my water out in the mornings before I get started. I can go in there and go, well, dang it, I hadn't even had 1 bottle yet. No wonder I'm hungry or dissatisfied. I'm going to go in there and drink my water bottle. That's how you want to do that. You want to use that shield to filter your decisions through. Okay. So this is a freebie, and it is our 0-calorie freebie, and we need to be getting that in anyway. So make that be your first choice. But other freebies are, a lot of people will use pickles, if not sweet pickles, but pickles if they're a pickle person, or egg whites or something like that. Just there's a whole list of freebies in the uh, food library. And then an extra is typically not more than 40 calories. I have been saying that wrong, and Kim Shibboleth, who is our food guru, and I had a conversation about that, and she did some explaining to me about the extras. But an extra is typically no more than 40 calories, and so that's why I call it. It's just something little extra that you can use, like maybe a piece of Sweet Nothings candy or a Choco Right patty, something like that. And then a snack is never more than 200 calories. And it's not, when I say an extra or a snack or a freebie, it's not just absolutely anything that you want to eat up to 200 calories. It would need to be approved. The reason of that is because I don't know what other people might choose to eat, but it might not give them, it might take them out of EFB. So we have lots of approved things. And we really are going to teach you how to eat things from the grocery store, but we do sell some specialty items in our store that are available to you if you want them. And why we sell those is because they're things that we have found over the years work, but they're just not easily accessible in grocery stores. So we just bring them all together in one place for you. So if you have 3 eating episodes, whatever type you want to call them, if you have 3 eating episodes, that is an excellent Shibboleth day. Now, if you have 3 eating episodes, well, I'm going to do it reverse. Sorry, I'm going to do a good day. If you had a good day in Shibboleth, 3 meals, you ate some freebies, you had an extra, you had a snack, and you got your water in, you journaled your food, and you ate the right portions. That's a good Shibboleth day. If you want a better Shibboleth day, maybe you do 3 meals and then freebies. Maybe you left off that extra in that snack. Do you see how that would be better? That'd be a better day. And then the best would be just your 3 eating episodes. Whether you do 2 meals and a snack or 3 meals, just 3 eating episodes. That would be the best. But you can see how there's good, better, and best, and not every single day is always going to be the same. But if you're hitting one of those 3, you're good to go. You're good to go. But let's talk about this real quick with, let's just say that you have freebies, an extra, and a snack in a day, and those things add up to being 300 calories. Well, if you have 300 calories and you divide that into 3,500, see, that's about 11.67. If you divide that into that, you're slowing yourself down by 11 days in losing a pound if you're having those every single day. So you can see why you do just want to be choosy, okay? But you do have these options. Now look at the last bullet point here. Keep in mind, though, that we are trying to stop grazing because grazing is hurting us. And that's where that behavior modification part in the journaling comes in, because when you're writing everything down and you go back and you look at that and you're like, okay, I ate breakfast, but then I had an extra, and then I had lunch, and then I had a snack, and then I had dinner, and then I ate freebies all night long. That looks like grazing. Now, it would still be a perfect Shibboleth day if everything that you ate was portion controlled and approved. It'd still be a perfect Shibboleth day. It'd be a good one. But just keep in mind, we're trying to stop grazing. So if you can eliminate as much of that as possible, then do it. If you need it, take it. Okay, so this is the slide that we're going to use tonight to go over what makes a properly combined meal, but please understand that you've got to come back tomorrow night because the whole hour is on this. And I give really simple examples tonight, but tomorrow night we're going to read like 10 items that would be in the lean protein, 10 items that would be in the fibrous carb, and that kind of thing. Okay, so in order to learn combinations, you just need to know that there are 7 categories of food. 7. These foods, all foods, these are kind of basically whole foods that we're talking about. There's all sorts of other boxed and processed foods in Shibboleth. We kind of call that, if you might hear these, I'm going to go ahead and explain to you. See how this says phase 1? Phase 1 is, people always ask me all the time, well, when do I get out of phase 1? Never. Phase one is the foundation of the program. You're always going to be in phase one. But phase two is where you might start looking at other box things and things in the middle aisles of the grocery store, soups, frozen foods, things like that. But what we're going to talk about tonight is like whole foods and how you would put those together. So there are 7 categories of food. The items made their way into these categories based on their nutritional value. Is it a lean protein? Is it very fibrous? That kind of thing. And how it responds in your body. So that's how an item made its way into a category. So there's 7 categories of food. And I sat around in my house and I was in the shower and I was driving in the car and I'm going, Category 1, lean protein. Category 2, fibrous carb. Category 3. I mean, I wanted to know this information. So you want to have this information in here and in here so well that it's really effortless to live and do this. And that's why I was just memorizing it. But category 1, or anytime you see the number 1, that is a lean protein. You may also see the abbreviation LP. Category 2 is a fibrous carb. You may see the abbreviation FC. Category 3 is an energy carb, or EC. Category 4 is a protein plus fat, or PF. And category 5 is fruit, or FR. That's also known as an antioxidant carb. We don't have AC. AC would stand for antioxidant carb. We don't have it on very many documents, but when I was going through everything, every once in a while I would see AC on there, and I don't want anybody to be confused, so I added it to this. An antioxidant carb is really a fruit. See, antioxidants are really good for you, and that's all those colorful phytonutrients that come in fruit. And so that's why I would call that an antioxidant carb. Category 6 is a superfood, which is SF. Category 7 is shellfish, or SHF. And really, shellfish is just a category 1. It's really just a category 1 lean protein. So now let's talk about what foods come in these categories. So a category 1, that's where egg whites are. No fat parts. The yolk would not be in that. That's your egg whites. That would be chicken breast. That would be 96% lean ground meat. That could be beef, chicken, turkey, anything that's 96% lean ground meat. That's where you also have some yogurts, some approved yogurts, Greek non-fat yogurt, and Oikos 000 yogurt. So you've got some lean proteins there. In your fibrous carbs, that's where your green beans are, broccoli, all your cruciferous vegetables, squash, asparagus, things like that. But we have over 60 approved bread or bread type items in this fibrous carb category, and most people say that's a hallelujah moment for them. You don't have to give up anything on Planet Shibboleth. We are either going to teach you the new product that you need to buy. Maybe you just weren't buying the right bread. That bread that you were buying wasn't helping you out. So we're going to tell you which ones are the best to buy, and then you just start switching over your bread. Maybe you weren't using a tortilla that wasn't helping you out. So we just tell you which ones to get. And then there's Joseph's mini pitas, there's Joseph's lavish bread. There's all kinds of stuff in there. Okay, so we do have some fibrous carb breads. And the reason that bread can make its way into the fibrous carb category with green beans, broccoli, and such is because there's enough fiber in that to break down in your body like a green bean rather than a bread. Energy carbs, this is where all of your corn is, lima beans, grits, things like that. Potatoes, all your potatoes. Protein plus fat, this is where your whole eggs are. This is all cuts of steak. This is 93 to 95.9% lean ground meat, pork chops, and such. 5 is fruit. All fruit is in fruit. Superfood. Now, if you're going to write anything down, write this down. I will ask this tomorrow night. A superfood what qualifies a food to be a superfood is that it has all 4 macronutrients in there, all 4 macronutrients. Now, if you've studied any nutrition before, you might be thinking, how come she's saying 4 macronutrients? Well, that's because on planet Shibboleth, and you are now a citizen of planet Shibboleth, we consider water a macronutrient. And it's actually the most important macronutrient, and it's a 0-calorie macronutrient. So a food qualifies to be a superfood because it has all 4 macronutrients in there. So it's got water in it, it's got protein in it, it has carbs in it, and it's got fat in it. So it's got all 4 macronutrients. So a superfood is where you're going to find avocados. That's where your nuts and your seeds are going to be. That's where all of your nut butters are going to be, and hummus and things like that. That's going to be in superfood. And then shellfish, that's where shrimp, lobster cram, mussels, those kind of things. So all of that is there. But I want you to know that if anybody ever says to you, you need a lean protein with that meal, it can come from category 1 or category 7 because shellfish is really just a lean protein. It used to be in category 1, but because of biblical reasons and medical reasons, some people don't want to eat shellfish. And so it just got pulled off all on its own. So if you don't eat shellfish, when you're looking at a combination chart, let's just say you've printed yourself one out. If that's the case, if it were me, I would take a Sharpie marker and I would just draw right through the ones that I'm not going to eat. Because if you're not going to eat a 7, you don't even need to have them be distracting and in your line of sight. So, but shellfish is really just a lean protein. In fact, we do separate out fish. Fish is just in your lean protein category. All your fish is going to be up here, but shellfish will be down here. Here's the other thing. If it swims in the ocean or the lake and it's not a fish, it's still going to go in category 7. I say that because octopus doesn't have a shell, but we just put that in the shellfish category. And I hope that makes sense. So let's have a look real quick here. I'm not going to spend much time on this combination chart, but I do want to familiarize you with it because there's 2 combination charts you may have seen in your exploration of the website. This blue one this is your lifestyle category. I mean combinations. This is going to be great weight loss. This is going to be even better weight loss. And this red column, if you stick in this column a lot, you're going to be blowtorching fat like you'd blowtorch butter. So this is your fast weight loss column. This is fast, this is faster, this is fastest. And as you can see right over here, do you see where that says 1 LP? That does not mean the quantity. It doesn't mean you're going to have 1 lean protein, 6 superfoods, and 2 fibrous carbs. That doesn't mean that. What that is that's the category number, and that is the abbreviation for the category name. So this is a category 1 lean protein. This is a category 6 superfood. This is a category 2 fibrous carb. So that's just saying that you can put those things together and have a properly combined meal. Okay, so here's some things you can take notes about. There are 5 of these 7 that do not even have to be combined. You can eat them all by themselves. They do not even need to be combined. So I'm going to go over those. You can eat lean protein by itself. You can eat fibrous carbs by themselves. You can eat protein plus fat by itself. You can eat superfood by itself. And you can eat shellfish by itself. Shellfish. So we've got 3 and 5, which just the energy carbs and the fruit. They're the ones you cannot eat by themselves. Okay, so it's the energy carbs and the fruit that have got to be combined properly. Okay, so let's have a look at that. I'm going to teach you 2 things. I'm going to teach you what you must have with an energy carb or a fruit if you're choosing to have an energy carb or a fruit. And then I'm going to teach you what you don't have with a different category because that's the easiest way to help you understand that. So let's say that you want to eat some corn. Corn is an energy carb. That makes I've taught myself energy carb, ding, ding, ding. I must combine that properly. I must eat that with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So let's say I want some corn. The corn would be about right here underneath my hands. See how I can use my hands as a good visual? So there's going to be my corn. Okay. I must have it with a lean protein. What would you like to eat that with? Somebody give me a lean protein if they know one. What would you like to eat some corn with? That would be a lean protein. And a lean protein, that means it could come from category 1 or category 7. Chicken breast. Chicken breast. Okay, I got some chicken breast going on. So chicken breast, this is my protein source right here. Yep, and Lauren said grilled chicken too. My chicken breast, that's my protein source. My corn is going to sit here. I must also have that with, and Kayla says pork loin. I must also have that with fibrous carb. So tell me a fibrous carb that I might want to put right here. And that's going to come from our category 2 one. That could be like our, yeah, Jennifer said broccoli. Okay, broccoli. So let's use that. Chicken breast right here. Corn right here. Broccoli right here. That is a properly combined meal. Now, I want to tell you the science behind this because this is important. This is really super duper important. The corn, when you eat the corn, it is going to elevate your blood sugar. That's just the nature of corn and how it responds in our body, okay, because of corn's nutritional value. It elevates your blood sugar. Insulin comes out. Insulin comes out to regulate and regulate that blood sugar. And that's okay. It's coming out to do its job. But in this food combination that we did, because we want to control insulin, right? The protein in the lean protein and the fiber in the fibrous carb, so the protein in the chicken breast and the fiber in the broccoli neutralize the insulin that release that came out to deal with the corn, the blood elevation from the corn. But at this much corn, did you overeat it at this much? Did you overeat corn when you just ate this much? If you just ate this much corn, did you overeat it? Right, right. You didn't overeat it. So your body, it produced a little bit of insulin. That's right, y'all. Thank you. Yeah, so you didn't overeat it. Yes, insulin was produced, but now you know, combine that properly and you let the food that you ate be medicine. So it helped neutralize that insulin release. And we do want to keep that insulin at bay. And here's why. Insulin is a hormone. It's a growth hormone and it grows because it goes around and collects fat. Well, in that chicken breast, there's really no fat. There's no fat in the corn itself. It just elevates blood sugar, and there's no fat in the broccoli. So you didn't have any fat with that meal to be collected. Okay, so that's really important. So let's say that you want to eat some fruit and you can maybe make yourself, let's say you want some berries in the morning. You do about half a cup of berries and then make yourself an egg white spinach omelet if you like those two things. If you don't like those two things, anything I give as an example, if you don't like it, scratch it off your list because there's plenty to be eaten and we can make a combination that you'll like. But just for simple science teaching sake, I'm going to use that one. Let's say an egg white spinach omelet. The protein in the egg whites and the fiber in the spinach neutralize any insulin increase and from the berries. Now, by the way, berries are your best. They have the lowest glycemic impact. They're your best for weight loss. But there's no fat in egg whites. There's no fat in spinach. There's no fat in berries. So even though you had an insulin elevation, your blood sugar was elevated, so insulin came out. There was still no fat there to be collected. And then the protein in the egg whites, the fiber in the spinach dealt with that insulin. So again, it goes back at bay. So that's what you want to know about that. If you're going to eat an energy carb or a fruit, it must be combined with a lean protein and a fibrous carb, both of them. It can't just be one or the other. And now fruit, hold on, this question. Do you mind explaining the difference between eating eggs versus egg whites? Yes. Yes. The fat comes in the yolks. Exactly. Because egg whites are a lean protein. If you don't have any yolk in there, there's absolutely no fat there. It's all 100% protein. But if you have the yolk in there, it's the fat part. That's why we put it over in the protein plus fat, because it's got great protein. And honestly, the fat in an egg is really actually quite good for you. And yeah, it's really good for you. We just want to make sure that we eat it in a certain way, which we're going to talk about next. But do you remember how I said in the very beginning that there's two modes, weight loss mode and maintenance mode? And the three differences were how many holidays you get and your mindset. But the other one was how you eat fruit. Once you get to maintenance, if you're eating fruit with a meal, you really should still combine it properly. But if you also want to have a serving of fruit as a snack, as your snack for the day, then you can do that, but not in weight loss. See, in weight loss, we have to, okay, weight loss mode is a different nutritional situation than maintenance mode. So they're two different nutritional situations. And so we have to make sure that we treat them as they should be, because we want less of a blood sugar elevation in weight loss. But in maintenance, once you're there, you can have a little bit more and you're not going to be affected by it. Okay, so let's have a look at category 4, protein plus fat. So let's say that you want to eat some steak, okay? So you eat some steak. This is how I'm going to teach this to you. I'm going to tell you what you don't eat with it. You actually can eat it by itself. So speaking of eggs, if somebody just wanted to get up and make themselves some scrambled eggs in the morning, they can do that. You can have scrambled eggs, and that would be fine. That'd be fine. You don't have to combine it with anything at all. This comes very handy for me because I go to a lot of luncheons, and sometimes at luncheons and I'm looking at the food they've got out, I'm like, fat bus, fat bus, fat bus. Oh, chicken breast or steak or, anything like that. I'll just have the meat. And I'll tell you in a minute why I called chicken breast in that particular situation a protein plus fat, because it's a little nuance that you have to know when you're eating out. So a protein plus fat must not be eaten with your 3s, your energy carbs, your 5s, which is your fruit, or your 6s, which are superfood. The reason that you don't eat protein plus fat with those is because those things have more carbs in them. And you do not want fat and carbs in your system at the same time. So let's talk about the classic plate of a steak and a baked potato. So your steak is a good protein and it's got some fat in it. The protein is not a problem, and the fat that's in there is really not a problem because it's good for you. Okay. And your body actually needs fats for certain functions, and it's just going to get used up as energy and it's going to go away. So as long as that is portion controlled, you're good with that. The problem came in eating it with a potato. The potato brings an insulin release, okay? And it's probably not a reasonably sized potato because most people want more of it. So you bring this insulin, and dose after dose after dose of insulin comes out to deal with a potato. But I like to equate this to a dog. So you sent your dog outside to do what it's got to do its business, and then come back in the house. But a squirrel runs through the yard, and off the dog goes chasing the squirrel. So let's talk about this. You eat the potato. Insulin comes out to do its job of regulating your blood sugar. But it starts on doing that, and then it goes, wait a minute, there's fat out in this body because I'm going to go pick that up. She ate that steak. There's some fat lipids floating around. I'm just going to go pick it up. So that's why I call it the fat bus, because it goes around and picks up fat lipids and stores it. And we don't want that to happen. So if we can control that from happening, we're going to have better fat loss. And that's what we're trying to do. People say weight loss. Well, you don't want to lose muscle. You don't want to lose tendons, ligaments, heart mass. You want to lose fat, not other things. And so giving your body all the proper nutrition that it needs, and if you're properly combining meals, you will. Doing all of that will make really great fat loss, as well as preserve your muscle, which is super duper important. So let's talk about this protein plus fat. Optimally, you'll eat it with a fibrous carb. So maybe your new favorite, if you like broccoli, would be steak and broccoli. I find that there are so many restaurants now, when I order their broccoli, I'm like, wait a minute, that broccoli is better than um, than their French fries. Okay, Diane says to repeat that about the protein plus fat and the energy carbs, or what you shouldn't eat with that. The scientific part, Diane. I just want to make sure I repeat the right thing. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Okay. Because I'll repeat anything you need me to. I just wanted to make sure I was going to repeat the right thing. So basically, though, you just don't eat protein plus fat with 3s, 5s, or 6s. And we're going to do more of this tomorrow night, because what your job is to do this week is to start putting together your favorite list of lean protein, your favorite list of fibrous carbs, and so forth, and then putting your own meals together in a way that you really enjoy what you're getting to eat. Okay, so just to recap, the most important rules of food combining: your category 1, which is your lean protein, and a category 2 fibrous carb cooked in MCT oil, which we're going to talk about on the next slide, is or a 7, which is shellfish, which is really just a lean protein, with your fibrous carb cooked in MCT oil, is the fastest fat burning combination. If you want to eat a 3, which is your energy carbs, 5, which is fruit, you must eat it with a lean protein, which could be a category 1 lean protein or a category 7 shellfish, and a fibrous carb, which is category 2. And then just don't eat your category 4 protein plus fat with any category 3s, which is your energy carbs, 5s, which is your fruit, or 6s, which is your superfood. And then all meat, when you are eating it at a restaurant, needs to be considered a category 4 protein plus fat. Anytime you don't know what a meat is, just consider it a category 4, and that'll keep you safe, because if you consider it a category 4, you're not going to have it with energy, carbs, fruit, or superfood. So a minute ago when I said, oh, chicken, I can eat that. Well, when it comes from a restaurant and I'm at a luncheon, then I don't know what they cooked that lean protein in. They probably cooked that in an oil that's not approved. They turned that lean protein into a protein plus fat by cooking it in fat. So that's how that happened. Okay, this one is huge. This is really important, because we got to see. I should have said secret alert back on those combinations, because that's a real big thing that, I mean, I'd never had heard of this before Shibboleth. And I had not necessarily tried a lot of diets, but I had always been a person that seeked out health and wellness stuff. And there's no health and wellness stuff ever helped me lose 1 pound. But combining the foods and doing the 5 daily disciplines like we do, 50 pounds gone in 5 months. So, okay, so approved cooking oils. 100% MCT oil is our most recommended. MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. Coconut oil would be your next best choice. It is 60% MCTs, but it's not 100% MCTs. Ghee butter, which is GHEE butter, it's a clarified butter. It's 40% MCT. So really all that is butter that has been clarified. Once butter has been clarified, it leaves more MCTs, and so that's why that's able to be used. Hemp oil, it's really there for a wellness thing. It doesn't really have that much MCT oil in there, so I really wouldn't worry about that right now. Then you've got 0-calorie cooking spray. That's obviously okay. 0-calorie cooking spray. All right, medium chain triglycerides. And it says 100% medium chain triglycerides. So when you're buying it, you want to make sure that the ingredients say 100% medium chain triglycerides. You don't want it to say medium chain triglycerides from coconut oil. Well, they just were selling you some overpriced coconut oil, trying to call it all MCTs, because coconut oil is not 100% MCTs. So medium chain triglyceride has almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat. That's exciting. We don't need to be storing it. We're trying to burn it. Okay, so it burns like that. That's how fast MCT oil burns up. Now let's compare it to what we've been using and what that's called. Probably we've been using olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil. Okay, those are all long chain triglycerides. They're LCTs, long chain triglycerides. They have a longer, so it's a longer fat lipid. It's also a very extremely tightly, densely woven so three-corded triglyceride. It has a great propensity to be stored on the body as fat because it is so hard to burn up and takes so long to burn up. So if we are overeating these unapproved oils and they take so long to burn up, and guess what these oils are? They are an easily accessible energy source for our body. And so our body is always going to take the path of least resistance, just like humans, we take the path of least resistance too. If we've been giving our body unapproved oils, it's going to go to that first when it needs its energy. But if we have not been giving it unapproved oils and we've been combining our food properly, we are still going to need energy to live our lives. In order to get energy, that's when our body starts to access the stored energy that is sitting there ready to be used. And that's the fat that we want to burn. Okay. So we're not going to give ourselves unapproved oils and starchy or sugary carbs. We're going to combine our food properly. And when our body needs energy, which it does every minute of the day, it needs energy, it's going to access that stored energy, which is what we're trying to get rid of. Okay, so isn't that beautiful? I mean, I just love knowing how it works now. It's amazing. So when you're buying MCT oil, make sure that it says that you can cook with it because we're not using it for any other purpose besides cooking in a pot or a pan, putting it in a recipe, or making salad dressings. Some people like to put it in coffee, like I make a bulletproof coffee. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. And you're going to hear a lot of noise about MCT and you should use it for this and you should use it for that. Those people that are trying to sell you that and using that in those ways are not in the same nutritional situation. It is not good to put fat in a pre-digested drink. Coffee is a pre-digested drink. There is nothing to slow down fat, even when it's a good fat. So you just don't do that. And we don't add it to a shake because it's just adding random calories to a shake that we do not need. So we're just not going to add it in that way. Now, you are hearing me say lots of great and wonderful properties about the MCT oil, but what I don't want you to hear me saying is that you have to figure out a way to get it in. You do not have to figure out a way to get it in. You do not need to take it as a supplement or anything like that. Where if you're going to cook in a pot and a pan and you're cooking a lean protein, then you can use MCT oil. If you're cooking a recipe that calls for it, you can use it. If you are making some salad dressings, then you can use it. But otherwise, you're not just going to figure out a way to get it in. Okay. It is a staple, though, that you're going to want to have in your pantry or your cabinet, a nice, cool, dry place, because when it's called for, you want to go ahead and have it. You know, if you're looking through the Shibboleth recipe library and it says you're going to need MCT oil, you know how frustrating it is not to have all the things that you need. So you want to go ahead and have that. We do sell one at our store. It's the brand name of it is Zero Drag. Zero Drag. And the reason I like that one is because 1 tablespoon is the amount that you would want to use of this. That would be up to 1 tablespoon. You don't have to use a full tablespoon if you don't need it, but no more than a tablespoon. So when you're using that 1 tablespoon, ours, the Zero Drag brand, it's got 100 calories in it. Whereas all the other ones I've looked at have 130 calories in them. So I want to use the one that's got less calories. So that would be the Zero Drag one. And one last note on this, and we got 2 more things about this slide, and we're going to move to the next one. When you are cooking with it, cook on low to medium heat. because it will set off your smoke detector if you don't. And that right there just tells you how quickly it burns up. So make sure you do that. Also, let me answer this way. So the next question or a really great question I got one night was this: why would I choose to use medium chain triglycerides, which has calories in it, versus a 0-calorie cooking spray? Which is a great question. Here's why. Medium chain triglycerides, they have a muscle preserving effect and a metabolism building effect. And 0-calorie cooking spray doesn't have those two great properties. So when you can use medium chain triglycerides, use them. But if you can't, at the moment, you're just not going to use them. Now, when I am cooking a lean protein, I use medium chain triglycerides. If I'm cooking a protein plus fat, I don't need to add any more fats, even good fats, to a protein plus fat. It already has fat in it. So that's where I use a 0-calorie cooking spray. So let's say I'm cooking some egg whites. I might drizzle a little bit of MCT oil in the pan just to keep it from sticking. But when I'm cooking whole eggs, I use 0-calorie cooking spray. Okay, and we're going to go over this again tomorrow as well. Now, we want to remain in EFB as often as possible. And your timing chart on the website will help you have a really great visual for that. But listen, we're striving for perfect days, but planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. And you know what? We no longer have to feel guilty, bad, or anything. Just enjoy your holiday. Have it, enjoy it. But now we know what to do. We get right back to our plan. We get right back to our perfect days. How many of you have ever gone on vacation before and you come back from vacation and you continue eating like you were still on vacation? I know I've done that before, but I don't do that anymore. I go on vacation and I enjoy my vacation. And when I get back from vacation, I'm right back to my perfect days. And anything that I put on during vacation comes right back off. But see, what I have now is I've got a management system. I've got all the tools. I know what to do now. I just put it into play every single time. And actually, when you're having a holiday, you're not off the planet. You're just having a Shibboleth holiday. You get right back onto your perfect days the next day. So just keep in mind that after a holiday, it always takes 2 perfect days to get your body back into EFB. So when you're on your very first perfect Shibboleth day, you are going to see a green check in your timing chart. So in your journal, you're going to mark what type of day you're having. And that's going to create an icon in your timing chart. And that's going to give you a fantastic visual to see how you're doing. It's a great visual to look at if the scale hasn't told you what you want to see in a week. You can look at that timing chart and say, wait a minute, I have been doing my best. I'm just going to keep right on plugging along and do that. Awesome, Chastity. Yay. I love that. Wonderful. So Chastity has her chat set to all panelists, so nobody else saw that. She said, I finally understand. I'm so glad that she's done this tonight. Excellent. Good. So when we are in EFB, our body is going to burn stored energy, which is fat, for the energy that we need, rather than easily accessible energy such as unapproved oils and starchy and sugary carbs. Okay, so we want to be in EFB, but planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. After the holiday, you get right back to your perfect days. Every single time, it takes 2 perfect days to get back into EFB. Okay, we're going to recap what the fat bus is. The fat bus is insulin. Insulin is a hormone, and we know hormones are very powerful. It is a growth hormone focused on fat storage. Its job is to regulate blood sugar, but it will also collect fat if it's out in your body at the same time as fat. And insulin, after an insulin release, fat storage, this is important for you to know, fat storage will occur for up to 48 hours, and that means you're out of EFB, okay? Insulin also increases appetite. How many of you ever had ice cream, and then after you ate the ice cream, you're not hungry, but then you want chips? After you've eaten the chips, You want popcorn. After you've eaten the popcorn, you want a candy bar. I mean, it's just like it's insulin just sends you on this nasty uh, appetite increasing spiral downward. So we want to make sure that we understand that insulin increases appetite. So you're not really hungry all the time. It's that insulin. I always like to explain this too, because after you've had a holiday and you're getting right back to your perfect days, you want to realize that if you're a little hungry, it's that insulin. It is just dissipating. Just let it go away. Go to your freebies. Just stick with your perfect day and get right back to it. Okay. And then I've already gone over that last point many times. Okay. So now your question is, what am I going to eat this week? Your job is to make a list of your favorite lean proteins, and it could come from category 1 or category 7. Make a job of at least 7 favorite fibrous carbs, which are category 2. And then literally, like you're in elementary school and you have a list of something in line 1 and a list in, column 1 and a column 2, draw a line and say, oh, I think chicken breast would taste great with broccoli. I think chicken breast would taste great with green beans. I think 96% lean ground beef would be really great with cauliflower or whatever it is you like. But that's going to be the simplest way to, one, get results. Because what we want to do is we want you to get some really fast results. We want you to see that this works. You always have time in the future to expand your knowledge, but keep it really simple in the beginning and it'll help you. So mix and match, those things from your favorite categories there. And if you'll cook them with MCT, if you can, like if it's a lean protein or a shellfish and you cook it with MCT, that just kind of supercharges your meal a little bit, but don't feel like you have to get MCT oil in. It's just that you don't want to use olive oil, canola oil, or vegetable oil. Throw in a few meal replacements for simplicity. Meal replacements are things like Mighty Muffins or the hemp bars. I love the hemp bars and lots of other stuff like that. But throw those in, because if you were eating Pop-Tarts and cereal before, just throwing in a little meal replacement that now works for you rather than against you, it's real easy. You just find some that you like. Keep it super simple in the beginning, but they branch out as you continue to learn and live the lifestyle. And last but not least, I want to explain our awesome resources. So it didn't cost much to get into Shibboleth. The value that you're going to get will be immeasurable, because it's going to change your life, because this is only the information you're going to need for the rest of your life. And now you're finally getting it, understanding it. You've never heard it before. We're going to put this together in a way that gives you all the tools and a fun community to do this with. So I need you to join the Facebook groups, okay? You also want to familiarize yourself with our awesome website. It's big. It's a Mac Daddy website, okay? And if you'll work your way through those laps that I've created, the 7 fast track laps, it's like a map, or, I like to call it a little web quest. It's going to direct you to these certain places. It's going to tell you exactly what to do on those. And you're going to be able to, 1, get your account set up properly. 2, start to learn the website. And I'm hoping that I shorten your learning curve on that with this lap system. And then I do want you to set up a getting started mentor appointment at mentor.genbook.com. Mentor appointments, anytime you need them, are included in your membership. These are ladies who have been where you are and have overcome, and they want to see nothing more than you succeed. So they're there for you. You just have to set up an appointment with them so that they can set aside the time to talk with you. But when I want you to set that up is, I want you to set it up for next week. You can go ahead and set it up, just book the appointment for next week. The reason I say that is because I really need you to do Fast Track first. Fast Track is this week of paying attention to the Facebook group and doing the laps, the Fast Track laps. The laps are numbered 1 through 7. Today is day 1. Next Saturday is day 7. By then, you should have all the laps done. You can work in and out of these laps as you feel comfortable. So let's say there's a task on day 1 that you just can't do yet. That's okay. Just leave it unchecked. Go to lap, do the ones you can in lap 2. Do the ones you can in lap 3, and then you might have to go back to them. But by lap 7, which is Saturday, you should have them all complete. But the reason I want you to do those first is because when you have a conversation with a mentor, won't it be a better conversation and more beneficial to both of you if you're more familiar with the program? If she's having to teach you the program, which you could have learned in the fast track week by doing the laps and helping educate yourself, y'all can have a more productive conversation. But if she's trying to teach you absolutely everything, y'all's conversation is just, you could have been better. So that's why I want you to do the fast track laps this week. Go ahead and book that appointment. Just do that. Yeah, so Chastity is saying that that's true. She booked up an appointment before and didn't even know what to ask. Yeah. So we kind of set this up in a way that is, it really, if you'll take advantage of that, it will help you learn all of that and you can go forward. So welcome to the Shibboleth family. We are so very, very glad that you are here. And I do want to share my screen one more time with a different thing and show you how to get to those laps, because this is important. So if you are brand new, when you open up your website, it's usually popping up to the fast track laps, okay? But if you're here for a refresh or never got started, to find the fast track, you're going to click on dashboard. And you see where it says fast track? These are your instructors, myself, Jason, and Travis. You're going to click on fast track. And it'll look like this. And there's these 7 laps. And like I said, you can work in and out of these laps at your leisure, but your goal is to have all 7 finished by Saturday. So let me explain how I got this worked out right here. These are linked to exactly where you need to go on the website if you need to go to a different spot on the website. So all I got to do is click there. Once you've taken care of that task, you come back and you check this box. Do you see this little information there's a black pop-up. I wrote that pop-up just like maybe you and I were having a conversation on the phone and you asked me about that. I wrote that pop-up exactly what I would tell you about it. So this is how that you can read what I would say. It's linked where it would go. And this video right here is me showing you how to do everything in lap 1. So when you click on lap 2, there's a new video. This video is showing you how to do all of the things in lap 2. So I hope that helps. Let's see. Good, Chastity. I'm excited too. That's awesome. Y'all, tomorrow night is all about food combining. The whole hour is about different foods that come in the different categories, because you do want to familiarize yourself with the foods that come in the categories. Oh, good, Jennifer. I'm glad it was helpful. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, well, in the morning, check the Facebook group. There's going to be a little post that just reminds you to do your lap. Okay, and then just go to your lap and work your way through the lap, and please let us know if you have any questions. Oh, one more thing. I should show you this. Hang on. When you're on this website, do you see this green box right down here? Y'all, I just looked up there. I looked terrible. It was so stressful today when my computer died, and I usually fix myself up before I have this webinar. So please forgive me for looking like a mess. Okay, do you see this green thing? It says need help. If you are needing help Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., this is monitored. Okay, this is monitored, and they will chat with you right then. So there's help that way. So if you just have a simple, quick question during fast track, just click there. They're here to help. And otherwise, those Facebook groups are very, very important, because you get a lot of help that way too. Awesome. Okay, we're going to hop off, and please let us know if you need anything at all. But I truly believe you could lose 7 pounds in 7 days if you start tomorrow and go ahead and start applying all the parts that you can. So all the parts that you can, and just try to have your very best combined meals, and go from there. Let us know if you have any questions. Bye, Katinka. Bye, Kayla. Bye, everybody.